You look like the guy who kidnapped Elizabeth Smart. And so Larry David does at the beginning of 2013's Clear History, an HBO comedy movie directed by Greg Mottola, written by LD, and a bunch of his writer buddies from the Seinfeld days. Although I think he's channeling his longtime collaborator Larry Charles in that horrible fake wig and beard. Clear History is about a guy who destroys his future. That's the thing I think we forget about Larry David. Between Seinfeld and his own cable sitcom, Curb Your Enthusiasm, it's all too apparent to me that David is a complete and total nihilist. Every situation he stumbles into with that weirdly hilarious long-legged saunter of his ignites flames of discomfort. He is a lanky, bald, Jewish, wealthy, walking combustible. You can't name a car, Howard! He bellows at the beginning of Clear History, instantly curbing Jon Hamm's enthusiastic vision and hurling embittered acids all over his road to success. Why, Larry? Why can't an electric smart car be called the Howard? Who are you to say? Just because you are Larry David, pretending to be a marketing genius named Nathan Flom in this movie? A Chicago-obsessed, the band, not the city, narcissist who's wearing a ridiculous fake beard and wig and cannot stop confronting Ham's son's nanny about why she only washes her hair once a week? That's a terrible reason. Who cares about the nanny's hair? Why are you pointing that out? It isn't about the fucking hair on the nanny's head, is it? Didn't you get the memo? Howard is the name of Jon Hamm's little son, who you totally disregarded and did not find cute. Not only that, you gave Jon Hamm zero credit for being a single father. You, sir, are a menace to all things, and you must be stopped. Well, Larry David, may we pray, will never be stopped. I mean, when is Larry David anyone but Larry David? Word is he's even developing a Broadway play about a, quote, Larry David-like character, that's an actual quote, no news there, who awkwardly ruins a funeral and wake. I've never seen a show on Broadway. I fucking hate going to theater, but that is one I'd fight to not miss. Clear History is chock full of fantastic cameos, including Curb veteran J.B. Smoove and Seinfeld Curb stalwart Philip Baker Hall. Michael Keaton, especially, is the most exciting character happening here, besides Larry. As Stumpo, the building-blasting longshoreman, Keaton looks like he walked off the face of a Gorton's frozen seafood box and is as gloriously unhinged as ever. I seriously hope that his upcoming Birdman film places him back on top as a leading comic presence in movies. But the real reason to watch this is just to watch Larry David be that pain-in-the-ass Larry David. The man has no range as an actor, which is part of his endlessly disagreeable charm, and this movie may as well be an extended episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, but not nearly as triumphant, like at all. Just go back to the porn party episode of Curb from season 1 to affirm my suspicions that LD might have suffered a slight comedy stroke with Clear History. I'm hardly reducing him to an Albert Brooks, but so much fame and wealth and success can make you, dare I say, less funny. And like Brooks, who I used to consider the funniest filmmaker alive, Larry has reduced his output considerably over the years. One can only hope he bounds back big time with a project truly worthy of his mad genius, like his TV shows were. Otherwise, I'm still going to have to work on embracing cinematic LD. Who's going to rate me? I'm an ugly old man. I do love Larry David a lot, sometimes voraciously. He truly is one of my comedy gods. Grateful to him for so many laughs over the years. I get him. I identify with him. Are you fucking kidding me? I find myself constantly ensnared in what my wife calls Larry David moments because I, too, have little patience for bullshit. Often tend to see right through people, often am misanthropic, often feel put upon, often can't let people slide on their stupidity, often losing friends who can't hack me, often want to blow shit up socially, and am more than often always sticking my foot in my mouth. Alas, Clear History isn't nearly as fun as all that. In fact, in the end, I wound up pretty let down by it. It is all over the place, and I don't understand why we needed the Liev Schreiber character. It just felt like Larry. It just felt like Larry cashing in on a bunch of favors. I mean, who says no to this man? Nobody. And so they shouldn't. He deserves everything. But we can do better, Larry. We can do better. Our host, Tom Detloff, admitted to me in text that he finds this film to be a comic masterpiece that he's seen over 10 times. Wow. Fair enough, T. Show me that movie. For now, I think once is enough for me. No good?
Listen, I agree with you about everything you said about Larry David. You're totally right on, dude. I am with you 100%. But this movie's really, really, really funny. I mean, to me, and I'm probably going to get rocks and stones thrown at me here, I am putting this up there with Airplane. I think it's so fucking funny. I mean, Max, you think that this movie's all over the place and kind of lazy. Here's the thing about the genius of this guy's writing here is that every character, no matter how minor, they all have an arc. Like, they have a beginning, a middle, and an end. I mean, most movies would kill to have even just one or two minor characters have something like that. It seems that every single character in this movie has something of a beginning, something of a middle, and something of an end, and it's absolutely genius. I think he's a brilliant writer. I think this is an amazing comedy, and I can't get enough of it. And I certainly can't get enough of Liev Schreiber in those sweaters.
Oh, Schreiber was my favorite character in that film.
I mean, he's completely hilarious. Every scene in this movie is funny. It's genius, Max. And you come in here and you knock it? I give this to you and you're knocking it. It's like here. It's like I'm giving you like my 6-month-old to watch overnight. Hey, Max, look at this nice little beautiful thing here. Can you watch him or her for me, please?
Well, Tom, let me ask you.
Then the next day you're like, why the fuck did you give me this terror?
Well, yeah, because it shits all over the place. It doesn't fucking care. It does whatever it wants. It's undisciplined. It needs to learn how to shit in the diaper and not shit all over the room.
But it's not undisciplined. There's layers there. Like I said, every character in the movie, they all have somewhere to go.
Dude, I'm not saying there aren't layers, but come on, this thing wears out its welcome. The first half hour, I was dying. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, jeez. Like, once he became Raleigh, I was just like, where are we? Is he an assistant to a crazy old lady? The Pickles? It's still entertaining, Tom. Don't get me wrong. It's still entertaining. Okay. I stuck it out. It's like, it never.
Oh, well, thank you.
No, but I never took my eyes off it. I never looked at to text you, I looked at my phone. But, like, it kept me engaged. It just was like, wow. I mean, considering that this man is one of the funniest people in the history of the human race, it's just such an odd story.
I hear you. I think the one thing that might, where it kind of fails a little bit is that, and I think you kind of touch upon this, is that the minor character, the celebrities that are popping in on these things might kind of like seem to be walking, just doing a walkthrough for the sake of working with Larry David. Like maybe a little bit lazy. Not all of them. I mean, listen, Michael Keaton is doing he's honest to God doing some acting here.
Well, when isn't Michael Keaton doing something special?
Yeah, I mean, but isn't that amazing? It says a lot about him. I mean, I'm glad that you gave him kudos and you gave him a few sentences in your intro because he deserves it. And he does have a new movie coming out, Birdman, which apparently is going to be something that's might be considered Oscar worthy from the guy, which I'm very excited about because, boy, they really missed the boat with him on Clean and Sober. You know what I'm saying, Max?
I saw that in theaters. Yeah, I mentioned Birdman in my review. It should be very exciting.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I got to tell you guys something, though. Across the board, hands down, I have never been a Kate Hudson fan.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
What is it about her?
I don't know.
It's like like Renee Zellweger. I kind of like that Renee Zellweger, but you look at her face, and the next thing you know, she's sucking on a big, juicy lemon. And all the lemon juice is dripping down her snout, and she starts...
All sour with the pits. There's pits on her chin.
Yeah, the little tiny pits are dribbling down.
Pits,
the lemon
pits all
juice is
over the
dripping
place.
down. And she's just making that weird lemon face. And then I'm looking at this Hudson, I'm like, what? I am 44 years old. I have been slaving away my entire life to get on a Z level, and she was just orchestrated in. This is Hollywood nepotism at its worst, this kid.
This is Goldie Hawn's child.
Correct?
Yeah, I hear you with her.
She never, ever wins me over, ever. And I'm
All
not
the
a fan
Kates-
of Almost Famous. Don't tell me that's a great film.
No, this is Cameron Crowe. Fuck him. He's terrible.
Well, I'm not saying that.
Well, what's a good Cameron Crowe movie besides Say Anything?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Well, he wrote it. Amy Heckerling directed Fast Times, Adam.
Yeah,
Let's,
he wrote it. That's where the art comes from, I think. In that film.
He wrote a masterpiece then. He wrote one of the greatest. That is a funny movie. Talk about comedies.
Really.
That is one fucking funny movie.
Talk about
Ray
characters with depth and first, beginning, middles, and ends, and every character wants something. There you go.
See, but that's true, but that's true that Fast Times at Ridgemont High, like Clear History, it delivers in that sense.
Not like Clear History. No, Tom.
Absolutely.
You can watch Fast Times. I could sit and only watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High for the next 365 days. And I would always find something new, and I would always be entertained. How did you watch this film 10 times? Honestly. Did you really watch it 10 times?
I kid you not. It was on twice today in my living room. I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with Larry David. Let me just say that. I mean, like you, I just connect with this man. And every little thing that he writes, every little thing that he does, it's like, boy, I get it. I get it. And I'm proud that I get it. I'm like, you know what? It's good to be alive because I get this dude. You know, it's like how I get Paul Westerberg, you know, or Charles Bukowski. It's like I get it. You know, and I don't know. I'm connected to this movie. I think it's fucking awesome. Nobody thinks this though. It's only me. The only one out there, Max.
I think it's
you're
only
like Robert Redford in that boat movie.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm going to bring Dave Pace in here because we haven't heard from him yet. Dave, I'm kind of thinking that he's kind of digging to the Curb Your Enthusiasm well a little bit too much here, and people kind of are just like, you know what, maybe they want to see something a little fresh, they want to see a little something new. Max calls this movie like a prolonged episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. Where are you coming in on this movie? How do you feel about it? Are you with these guys? Do you see it like the way I see it? It's just a brilliant piece of work. Dave, talk to me, dude.
I don't know if it's a brilliant piece of work, but it's pretty damn good. I would take this over the vast majority of films that most people go and see.
Right, like look at all these comedies that are out. They're terrible.
They're fucking garbage, right? And so I mean, it's the same reason. You know, to me, this is the same. You know, bagging on this movie is like bagging on Prometheus, right? You know, everybody was bagging on Prometheus, like, man, that movie's terrible. And it's like, really? You're going to call that a terrible movie? No, That's not a terrible movie, my friend. You know, like, you may not have liked it, it may not have spoken to you, but that is not a terrible movie by any means. And I think it's the same thing here.
Movie.
Tons of people called it a terrible movie. You should see, like, the fucking horror nerds, right? Like, pile on about Prometheus. It's fucking ridiculous, right? So if you have the opinion...
I'm sorry. You're talking about Prometheus, not Clear History.
No, but and I don't think anybody said Clear History is terrible because it's not.
I didn't know you were talking about Ridley Scott's Prometheus. I thought you were talking about the myth of Prometheus.
Oh, no.
That's how over my head you are, Dave, and it's great.
I think that's under, because you're actually talking about like real Greek mythology, and I'm talking about a fucking movie for nerds.
Dave, you gotta listen. Dave, bring it down a little bit. You know, you're on Jeopardy. Max is kind of like doing the Wheel of Fortune thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel it. But, you know, it was a good movie. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It does feel a bit like an extended Curb Your Enthusiasm episode, a little bit. It's a little darker though. You know, the prison stuff is a little dark. I really didn't expect to actually see them in prison.
Or just the violence of blowing up a mansion. I mean, that's a pretty violent act.
Yeah, like these are like I don't know. I dug it though. I really really enjoyed it. I loved the John Hamm dick joke, like right at the beginning. Like they give John Hamm the chance to play up on his big dick status, because everybody knows that John Hamm has a huge fucking schwanz, right?
Well, I did not know this.
Apparently, John Hamm is fucking massive. Like the guy has just got this huge fucking schlonger, and so I made a note to talk about this guy.
John Hamm has a big schlonger.
Yeah, he's got a huge dick apparently.
Well, he's
Adam.
Really
have you heard this rumor?
Google that.
I know firsthand. It's all true.
Yeah.
Oh!
But they give him the line about what if it's too big, you know, when they're talking about the Howard car and the, you know, LD's talking about the piss tube he wants to build into it so you can like just whip it out and piss.
Yeah.
And they give John Hamm the line, well, what if you're, you know, a little too big to fit in that thing, you know? I thought that was great. That was like one of the highlights of the movie for me. Which I get that probably doesn't sound all right.
So listen, not only does, you know, John Hamm, is he blessed with good looks, he's blessed with success, the fucker's got a big dick too.
Yeah, he's got it all.
He's very funny in this film. He's really good.
Yeah. I agree. I totally agree. There's that scene in this movie where Larry has Kate Hudson out water skiing, and he's just talking to like this private investigator, and all this nonsense is going on in the background, and just the way he's delivering his lines.
It's great. He's such a smug, you want to punch him in the face, motherfucker.
He's like, I have to find this man and make things right, you know. And
Larry's out in the lake going, oh, 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 oh.
But what is it, guys? What is it? Because we're doing Larry David, man, and this is his latest piece of work. We're going to go back and talk about Sour Grapes on the next episode, which is a movie he wrote and directed in '98. He doesn't really act in. He has a small scene in it. And we're also going to talk about his work with Woody Allen. Finally, Woody Allen is coming to the Cutting Room Movie Podcast in the form of Larry David. But what is it about this dude and this work it is kind of repetitive, the stuff he's doing, the Seinfeld stuff, the Curb stuff, this and Clear History. When you watch Sour Grapes, it's kind of like a cross between what you see in Seinfeld and what you're going to see in Curb Your Enthusiasm. There's a formula here that's working. There's something about him that I think we're all relating to. What is it? What do you think it is that's just making us repeat offenders with this guy?
Can I throw my hat in here, Tom?
Please.
So Adam and I had the unbelievable honor of sitting in the front row for a presentation at the Grammy Museum Monday night. We were 3 feet away inhaling the cigarette vapors from Harry Dean Stanton. Now, Harry Dean is a guy who gave, I think, one of the best pieces of advice for any actor out there. And it's something that I have employed, I would say, within the past 10 years. What is that, Adam? What did Harry say? Oh, my God. He said, play yourself. So Larry David is a guy playing himself in the best possible way. And this is why he cuts through and reaches us, because no matter how many wigs you put on this guy, no matter how many beards you glue on his face, no matter how many names you change with him, he's always himself. And he is an awesome, awesome fucking personality. He is like everything we want to say and do in life that we can't do,
Yeah.
he's doing it for us. He is a rebel
Yeah.
in many ways, man.
Agreed. I mean, listen, here's the thing. I mean, what's really, and I was thinking about this watching some Seinfeld and watching a little bit of Curb in preparation for the show and watching these films. Listen, he's getting away with some real risque stuff. And I mean, a lot of his comedy. I mean, stuff that people normally would get a little bit pissed off about. I mean, but he takes things to an extreme sometimes. Very vulgar, very racy, and he gets away with it. It's all right. It's like he makes it okay, and it's amazing to me that he could do this.
But I don't. Does he get away with it? That's the thing. Is that he always pays for it. The choices he makes, the impulsive decisions, based on
the character. Adam, the character does. Right, the character. Are you talking about, or are you talking about Larry himself?
I'm talking about his characters, that part of the character that he portrays never away with it.
Yeah, I'm. Listen, I'm talking a step further. I'm talking about the guy that's really writing this stuff here. A guy that's putting this art out there.
Sure.
That's vulgar and racy. That's very suggestive. I mean, there's some things here that. Yeah, it's like Quentin Tarantino almost, like how he gets away with using certain terminology. Larry David does the exact same thing and gets away with it.
Well, it's because he created that expectation, though, right? Like his work in Curb and Seinfeld and all that created the expectation that this is a guy, that is either a violator of social norms or a manipulator of social norms, right? Like this is a guy who looks at. Who looks at the absurd, and it is absurd, like it is totally absurd, this absurd Byzantine set of social customs and rules, and either looks for ways to like stick his dick in them or ways to try and manipulate it to his advantage that fail. Right? And fails spectacularly. But he thinks he's a genius. He thinks like, I've figured out the shortcut, like I know how to do this. I can make this work for me. And I think that's part of it, is that he's not mean-spirited. You don't get it, like I never feel cruelty from him. I never feel like he's trying to really be a mean person. He's just fucking hopelessly self-absorbed, and completely interested in fucking with social norms and thinking and not really understanding that like they're not to be fucked with. And the thing is why aren't they to be fucked with? They're absurd. And so by fucking with them, he's showing everybody that it's crazy. Some of this stuff is totally nuts.
Right.
Hey Tom, do you think that he gets away? That LD, the writer, the director, the artist, gets away with it because the LD version of himself, the character that he portrays, doesn't get away with it. That there's some sort of like satisfaction that this self-absorbed, selfish, greedy bastard that does all these ridiculous things gets his comeuppance. Does that sort of,
I get, to the viewer, to the people who are watching it, I guess that would make total sense. That, even though they know that he's writing this, you're somehow thinking that this is really who he is.
Right.
And
he plays
the brilliance
exactly. He plays himself, essentially.
The brilliance of Curb is that it's scriptless, so it's improvised. So it seems like you're almost it definitely has a documentary feel to it. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, you're actually there on the streets of Los Angeles, in these restaurants, in these people's homes. You always get that feeling with Curb. This is one of the many brilliant things about that show, So you definitely, as a viewer, you have this connection with Larry, the character, that he's a real, like, this is really him. Right? And this is all brilliant. I mean, this is, Max, now this is all layered. I mean, it's insane. The guy's a real smart guy. And he changed, Adam, the whole way television was going to work over the last 20 years, especially comedically. I mean, when I went back and I pulled some old Seinfeld DVDs out. I didn't even know I had them. I found like season 5 of Seinfeld, and I'm like watching these shows, and I'm watching some of the behind the scenes stuff, and it really it made me realize that before the show came along, there weren't. I mean, like, there weren't real shows that were talking, blatantly about masturbation, about race, about all kinds of stuff. And they do it in such a fluffy, cartoonish way, too, which is brilliant on Seinfeld because they're on network television. But it completely revolutionized what we were going to see over the next 20, 30 years.
Well, Tom, you're right about that. But I still don't get the obsession with this particular film.
Oh, that's funny.
Tom, what is your deal, man? Like,
maybe I just miss him. Maybe I'm missing him.
I think it's more of an emotional connection to Larry than it is the actual film script. I mean, it's like the wool was pulled over your eyes, my friend.
No, come on.
Come on, Larry could put out anything, and you'll just start to vibrate.
That's true, and like maybe I'm just watching this movie like while I'm waiting for maybe 10 more episodes of Curb to come out, which will never happen.
Let me ask you this, Tom. Let me ask you this: do you spend, besides working, besides going to the bar, do you spend most of your life just watching other people's works?
Max, let me ask you a question. Besides working and besides drinking wine, do you spend most of your time watching other people's works?
No, I don't.
Okay.
What the fuck is that? You're going to turn the fucking question on to me?
I'm flipping that shit, dude.
You're flipping that shit.
I'm trying to flip it anyway. I failed.
You failed
shit got
miserably,
flipped.
Tom. You failed miserably.
Shit got flipped.
Tom, I am a completely productive citizen.
What are you saying, that I'm unproductive?
I carve out a time for myself to watch stuff. I don't sit around watching. I've got my own shit I've got to do, which I'm doing. That's what I'm asking you. Because you know what? Because, I remember a month and a half ago, we kind of had a little text exchange, and I'm like, hey, like we were sparking on something like, hey, man, why don't you write about your life in the pizza parlor, and maybe I'll draw a couple of panels for you. What happened, right. Tom? What happened with that?
I got busy. You don't want to know what happened.
You got busy doing what? Drinking and hanging out with Nomad Irish?
Yeah, well, maybe that's what I like to do, Max.
Well, then, don't turn the question around on a guy who's morning, noon, and night trying to create shit, trying to get out there, I know you're doing the cutting room, but I'm trying to understand why this whole thing with Larry, again, you're a guy with a sensibility. You're a guy who has a vision. I think, we keep talking about Bukowski. You keep bringing up Bukowski. What did he do all day? He wrote about it.
I'm tired of this conversation, Max. So you give me the same.
So the point is, you don't want to do anything.
But you give me the. What do you know?
Like, you're not. That's why I'm asking. That's why it's a fucking show.
Well, you're telling me that I don't want to do it. Like, I'm just like, I'm giving up on life.
I'm just trying to figure out what the fuck's going on with you, man.
I think Max believes in you, Tom, and wants to encourage you to
I'm so tired of this.
Creatively fruitful.
I am so bored with this.
You know what, Tom? You be bored, my man. You be bored, and you keep going down that same path. All good, brother.
What path? What path? The path of the uninformed opinion?
I don't know what the fuck that means.
That means you're making these opinions. You're throwing them out there for everyone to hear, and you're saying, I'm just a lazy guy that just sits around and works, drinks, and watches television.
I'm not saying you're that guy. I'm asking
that
if
sounds fucking great. I would love to do that.
Work, drink, and watch television.
That's not half bad.
If I could find a way to do that, but eliminate the work part of it,
I don't have a. See, that's the thing. Like all you clowns with your little lives and the wives and the thises and the that's and the friends and the bullshit.
Wives? What's wrong with having wives?
I have completely minimized my way of living where I have 2 or 3 close friends that are immediately around me. I pretty much ignore my family. I work.
How could you
I drink.
Patty?
Because I've known Patty for 40 years. It's like enough already.
She's your mom. The fuck was
I
that
know
sound?
That's the computer. It's gone crazy on me.
You know what, Tom?
Of course.
We're all exhausted. No worries. Just move on.
We're all exhausted, please.
I got a good night's sleep.
Dave, don't you think that Max like constantly beats on this like all the time with me? Like it's every single time. He'll bring it up later. It's not over.
No, it's not over.
It's going to come back later. Like, I swear, like in 45 minutes, he'll get in there again.
Yeah, probably. But that, you know, what it comes down to, I think, with this whole situation is that Max feels like you have something you want to say or do, and that you're your own worst enemy, maybe. I know I'm my own worst enemy. I know that for a fact. So I would never dispute that.
Yeah, but Dave, you're writing. You're writing and you're raising children and I'm just saying, let's not waste a good life here.
Right.
Let's
All right. Well, I'll
sit around and watch other people's work. Let's make our own work. And here we are talking about other people's movies.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll leave that up to the talented people to do, Max. In the meantime, I'll enjoy watching.
Such a douchebag right now. All I'm doing is saying that you're talented. You don't pull that shit on me. All I'm saying is that you're talented. You're the one with the problem, not me. So don't turn it around on me like you're the fucking victim and I'm attacking you, because I'm not.
I'm not saying I'm a victim.
Things happen for you.
What?
You have a goddamn site. You have a goddamn site. Evidently, you've got people looking at the site. You could be blogging about things on that fucking site. You haven't written one word on that site.
That's not true.
What have you written?
Oh, my reviews are posted on there.
Your reviews of things by other people. What about A Day in the Life of Tom that we talked about? What about, hey, I'm the guy who hosts The Cutting Room. You want to hear what my day's like? And then you go through it. What about all that stuff we talked about with your dad that you killed? You said, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, my dad is dead to me.
Oh, Jesus. And you know what? We'll never know because we're not allowed to bring it up, are we?
Well, you can bring it up, but it's a constant bring up all the time.
Because I'm interested!
Yeah, but not everybody else is interested. But there's also other parts of the day, Max, that could be reserved for your interest in what I'm doing.
Oh, let's just kill this.
Ladies and gentlemen, The Cutting Room Season 4.
All right, so I guess we're all pretty much in, the three of you are in agreement that this isn't really all that exciting of a movie.
I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I just didn't think it was...
All right, well, listen, I'm going to do something right here that I think everybody would probably agree with. The Cutting Room Movie Podcast is brought to you by Christiana Productions and New Media Limited. The show is edited and co-produced by Joseph Schreck and produced by Thomas Detloff and Joe Christiana. You can like us on Facebook at The Cutting Room Movie Podcast and follow me on Twitter, Thomas Detloff, at TCRM Podcast. You could also check out Joe's film work at ChristianaProductions.com. Check out Max Cook's new blog. Oh, he's a blogger now, everyone. He's blogging. He's blogging to the world. He's giving the world Max. Here you go, people. Here I am. I'm being productive. I got a fucking blog. I got a blog.
Wow.
I'm from Los Angeles and I got a fucking blog.
Wow. All right.
Check it out at maxcookuncorked.com. And you can also check out Max and Adam's Bowler Hat Productions and their Mimosa podcast show at maxcookandthecounselor.com. RueMorgue.com. Dave Pace is now a contributing writer at Rue Morgue magazine. Look for his work over there and check out his blog on horror media politics. Max, you got to help me out with this one. I always have a problem with it.
I'm not helping you out with shit. You just took a giant fucking dump on something that's so important to me. You're such a fucking asshole. You're so fucking jealous. You can't fucking handle the shit I'm saying. Fuck you, Tom Tetloff. Fuck you.
Oh, come on.
Fuck you.
Is he being serious?
Is he there? Is he gone?
Oh boy.
What the hell?
Let me just finish this so at least we have this in the in the works. The music by The Cutting Room is done by the Zillatones. Check them out at www.thezillatones.com or search for the Zillatones at ReverbNation.com. We'll be back next week. We're going to be talking more Larry David, sour grapes, and whatever works is on the table.
Sour grapes, exactly. Sour grapes, Detloff. This is war, you fuck.
Yeah, it's war. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm ready for war, pal.
I'm ready. Come on, bitch.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Go, motherfucker.
I am ready. Until then, we are over, and we are out. Ciao.